Okay, everyone, time for your First Alert forecast update as we settle in on this Saturday. I am First Alert meteorologist Tony Chiavaroli, and we have a lot of forecast details to dive into. I'm going to be getting you ready for the weekend. We've got some rain on the way, the potential for some flooding out there, but I do want to start things out with a big check on the tropics, because in terms of a big story overall, this is going to be impacting us eventually, and it's still going to play a hand into what we can see in the overall arching pattern. So as of right now, and this is of course Saturday morning, we are seeing the center of this tropical depression 4 that is soon to become a tropical storm. It still isn't named yet. When it is named, it'll be called Debbie. It'll be making a move into the Gulf. Let's take a check right now of this current projected track as we see it. It's just making its way through Cuba. It's of course gone through a lot of smaller island nations. It's only got itself together so much, so there hasn't really been much damage down that way, so that's been a positive. But now, as we work to see this, I'm going to stop it right here. Going into the overnight hours, very late Sunday, early Monday morning, is where we're likely going to be seeing this making a projected landfall, getting into Florida. Right, of course, towards that panhandle, the Gulf Coast, and this is eventually going to be trying to make a move towards us. But of course, any friends, any family you have down that way with that potential impact as either a strong tropical storm or even a weaker scale Category 1 hurricane, this is going to be something we need to keep gauging, every few hours. This is just a very fluid situation. When you get these storms to form, there's only so much you can do in terms of that cone of uncertainty. It could end up skewing a little bit further inland, or more likely with more models skewing further out to sea once it makes that landfall. But this is something we're looking to see again late Sunday night, early Monday morning, that potential landfall into Florida. Then we continue to see this tracker going on. And as we see this update, it's looking to try and bank off a little bit. It's not going to be continuing on that track, making that push into South Carolina. It's looking as if it could skew more out to sea. And if this is the case, into Tuesday and then Wednesday, we will still be seeing that potential for a lot of coastal flooding, just not as much rain and storms here in the Midlands. Now, again, this could easily shift a little bit further towards the west, and that'd make a big difference for us. This is something we need to keep our eyes on for you, which is why we keep updating this throughout the day. And as we get closer and closer, we're going to keep our eyes closer on it for you. But this is going to be, of course, a big point of reference, because as we see it, it can still, just be skewed a little bit more one way to the east or west. And either way you slice it, I do want to make this point right now, going towards the weekend as we get into that Wednesday situation, past, of course, today, going into the middle of next week. If you have any plans going down to the coast, going to the beach, seeing family or friends along that South Carolina coastline, this is a forecast situation you need to be paying attention to, making sure you're staying first alerted with us as we give you these updates, throughout multiple parts of the coming days. So that's going to be something we are looking onto. Now, as we get back to our local situation, this is of course something beforehand, we are still going to be seeing some impacts. This is not related necessarily to the tropical system. Yes, it is in terms of the overall pattern we're going to see, but this is what we hold on to right now for our weekend, and it's still 2 first alert weather days. We will be seeing showers and storms, not because of the system right now, but because of a cold front tracking through, and we're going to be talking about this, getting you prepared for, a lot of different situations here. So today, likelihood will be pretty good for rainfall as we see a cold front set up. Some of this front will likely stall, and it can actually bring us some heavier rain even on Sunday. And with everything projected for us to pick up today, that's why we could also see a bit of some flooding into Sunday. I'm not anticipating as much of an aggressive rain or an organized line tomorrow as opposed to what we'll see today. And I'm going to map this all out for you. I'm going to track it through, showcase for you what I mean, just to give you a better understanding on what you can anticipate into these coming days, and obviously coming day for this first half of the weekend. So here's the front. Here's how it's going to set up. Right now it is slowly moving its way towards South Carolina. It will likely start to really help just send a lot of the moisture we have down here at the surface into the atmosphere. Late in the day, you're going to have the daytime heating, likely low 90s for highs, so it is going to be a good recipe for storms, so you got to be taking that serious. Anywhere across the Midlands will be a good target to see a good organized line of some of these storms form once we get this cold front to settle in. So really need to have eyes in the sky if you're going to be out and about later into today. Now, as we go into Sunday, this is where we see that front move on. It does stall out a little bit though, so it's kind of hanging around. The upstate will likely be a bit drier, but between the Midlands, anywhere down to the coast, we will be seeing more of this rain holding on. And now we have this tropical low, which will likely be a tropical storm at this point. It'll probably be Debbie making that push towards Florida and setting its sights eventually on the Carolinas. That's all going to be mixing it up. So there's a lot of different situations going on in the atmosphere above us. So we watch this out and we keep it through getting into that Sunday. So still going to be watching out for some scattered rain potential. But then as we go into Monday, it's still going to be that very fine line where more of the rain is likely slated towards the low country and coast. And we're just going to be getting more of the outskirts of it as opposed to the full brunt of it, like Florida, like they will likely see down towards Savannah, Hilton Head. So they're likely going to be getting more rain and impacts from this as opposed to us. And the closer you get to the upstate, it should be drier. Let's, of course, see how this is going to look in a little bit more of a local sense as I bring you on forward just to depict it a bit better. So today, here we go. Afternoon hours. We're looking to see winds gusting up 20, 25 mile an hour times. We could see some of that with this front approaching. Okay, so this is what we're going to be seeing as we get to the middle of the afternoon. Likely spotty storms trying to pop up. But that organization, as we talk about so many times with a front, can be pretty good. It can form a nice little line segment of storms. So we're going to be looking out for that as we see it into 6, 7 p.m. This is obviously going to be a big point of reference with the huge soccer match, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit, going on at Williams-Brice Stadium, and that kicks off at 7:30. So we really need to focus on all these events going on around the region, and of course even a lot of smaller ones in your home area as well. Anything later into this Saturday, you got to keep eyes in the sky with this front moving through, and then by 10, 11 o'clock we see it coming down. You lose the daytime heating. Front is going to not be helping as much with the strength under the cover of darkness. So we can still see a few showers and storms linger, but we should calm down late overnight into Sunday morning. So looking pretty good there. Nice start to the day, but with that front hanging around with some of the moisture pushing up from the south, that front still there, and daytime heating still trying to get us upper 80s near 90. That will be enough again into the afternoon, 4 to 5 p.m. It's not going to look as impressive here, but I'm telling you, there will still easily be some storms and downpours, and we can see some of that spotty flash flooding, especially if we get 1 to 2 inches of rain from the storms today. We're starting to get more saturation to our soils. We're trying to see a lot of areas push out of drought phases, so it's all good in that sense, but you still have to make sure you are careful with any senses of travel out and about, especially between now and next week if you're going down to the coast. That you really need to be careful with a lot of these systems going on and this potential tropical storm, which should be getting named either later today or very early tomorrow morning. So we see that into Sunday, and then as we go into Monday now, a lot of information I'm throwing at you here. That's why I'm trying to go through it slow. As we go through this forecast period now, we're starting to get the outskirts of what should become Tropical Storm Debbie. That's making its way towards us. We're seeing, you can almost see that spin if you look really close in the graphic. Monday evening, still more of that rain lined up to the southern half of South Carolina. But then as we get into Tuesday, and this is what projections have right now, Tuesday morning is where we should actually see the brunt of this, where we can get more of that heavy rain at least into our south and eastern viewing area, if not a little bit further up into the Midlands. But as I said before, it's going to be a very much borderline battle where the heaviest rain sets up and where things are just going to end up being scattered showers and a bit of gusty winds. Upstate could end up staying very much dry. The closer you go towards Spartanburg and Greenville, that's going to be something that we need to keep monitoring as we go on with this system, okay? A lot to focus on in that sense. And even as we go here into rainfall totals, this is going to be something to watch out for as we make our move forward. And this is, of course, going to be something that plays a big factor into this system. As we see it, we will be getting more of this rain to likely line up along the coast. This has been something that we've seen, 7 to 10 inches. It can easily be very, very heavy in a short amount of time with this system because it shouldn't be hanging around too long, but it's easily more likely to cause coastal impacts as opposed to impacts further inland. But this is going to be something that we watch out for. This is 7 days out, and obviously this is going to be, a combination of all the rain this weekend, including what we see with this likely tropical storm. So we got to keep, of course, focusing on that. Flash flooding issues will be likely, a lot more for the coast, but even for us here at home in the middle of the state. So wherever you're going to be, make sure you are being careful out there. You are really being weather aware. You know what's going on, and you're staying first alerted with us with this forecast, whether you're tuning in on television, at more normal times, or you're taking a check, of course, online and our WYS First Alert Weather app. Truly appreciate you always getting this information up to date as we move forward. Just a quick little, nice thing for today as we get away from the doom and gloom. It is National Sunflower Day, so great one if this is your favorite flower, but it is going to be one to stay weather aware. Unlike the sunflower, not going to be too sunny later into this one when we start to pick up the pace with those storms. So got to watch out for that. Reminder, it's a first alert weather day because of what we see with isolated flash flooding issues. And also big reminder for this, the football match, soccer. This is, again, not American football. We got the big matchup between Liverpool FC and Man U. It's Manchester United. And that's going to be, again, a big one. It could be shaken up a bit by the rain and storms we're projecting later. So that's going to be something a lot of folks got to watch out for, especially, I've already seen some people heading up there, getting that tailgating practice in early for the upcoming football season. Again, Gamecock football season. But with this soccer matchup, it is going to be, an incredible opportunity to see two incredible teams from Europe and, just the pinnacle of European football and soccer. It really is, the fact that they're here. Crazy that worked out. But it is going to be a great day, at least for the first half. I'm really hopeful that storms somehow just miss and open up a little bit over our capital city. Everyone really needs to be on high alert for that later into the day, especially with a big event like that and anything you might be doing outside. As we go into Sunday, we're still going to see those lingering chances as stated. Monday and Tuesday, we still have a lot to decipher with that forecast, depending on the track of what will become soon Tropical Storm Debbie. And then we just see some unsettled weather continuing, but a lot of those high temperatures staying in the 80s into next week. I know that was a lot of information to unpack, but again, we needed to talk about it, and I'm glad to have a platform like this to have a bit more time to disseminate and go over this in more detail. So I appreciate you guys being here. You can always, of course, take a check on our website as well for more of these updates. That's at WYSTV.com. I am WYS First Alert Meteorologist Tony Schiavaroli. Make it a great and safe weekend.